Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Alberta legislature goes on break with an unresolved issue hanging over the summer. A court decision derailing a separatist effort dominates the final day of the session.
We want to make sure that we respect democratic processes and, the 300,000 people who signed the petition and the 400,000 who signed the other petition.
The father of a boy killed by a pair of dogs testifies at the trial of their owner. And Gone with the Wind. Cancelled flights to roof repairs, a look at a blustery day in Edmonton.
There's a really high volume of call for shingle repairs, sometimes complete replacement.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The spring session of the legislature is over and the provincial government has big decisions to make over the break. It will now be deciding how to handle an Alberta separation effort a judge has ruled unconstitutional. Connor Hogg joins us now. Connor, what's the Justice Minister's take on all this?
Jeff, a judge threw out a provincial separation petition question on the grounds that the UCP's legislation did not properly consult with impacted First Nations. The Premier says the province will appeal. She also mentioned the potential use of the notwithstanding clause in the legislature today. Alberta's Justice Minister says the province isn't defending the push for separation. It's about defending the process itself.
It is, in my view, irrelevant as to whether we like the question or what the topic of the day is, but rather the foundational purpose of the legislation, and that is to allow Albertans to weigh in on important issues.
It's unfortunate when activist judges get to step over the line. We want to make sure that we respect democratic processes and, the 300,000 people who signed the petition and the 400,000 who signed the other petition.
Justice Minister Mickey Amery says the province will spend public money on the appeal because the process must be protected on principle. Amery was asked whether this means a separation question will have time to appear on the province's already set October 19th referendum ballot.
We'll wait and see what the process is. We're going to work with the courts to see if we can get this moved as quickly as possible, but we'll have to, find out what that schedule and timing is like.
Piikani Nation Chief Troy Knowlton says he believes the province is supporting a separation referendum. He thinks the question should be put to Albertans, but not through the referendum process, through an election instead.
You continue to use the word democracy and you continue to say that those 300,000 voices are being ignored. If that is truly your belief that these individuals are given that opportunity to pursue their this mandate, then call an election and run on it.
Chief Troy Knowlton says this issue has united First Nations from coast to coast. He says the Piikani Nation is prepared to legally retaliate against any successful provincial appeal. Elections Alberta says it will abide by the court's decision, and Premier Danielle Smith says she's going to turn to her caucus and her cabinet to talk over what the government's next move will be. Jeff?
All right, Connor, thank you. Connor Hogg live for us tonight. Well, it hasn't been easy breezy for some in Edmonton dealing with strong wind today. Golf courses have been quiet, roofers are securing shingles, and the airport is dealing with dozens of cancelled flights. Curtis Goodrum has more.
The camera's just holding on. It is windy outside.
The wind has been howling through Edmonton, with gusts reaching up to 70 kilometers an hour. Everything from plastic bags to garbage bins, even a horse shelter, have gone with the wind. At the Edmonton International Airport, more than 50 flights have been cancelled.
Some of those airlines have decided to ground those planes at the moment because of the conditions outside right now.
The strong wind, combined with runway maintenance, has been a drag.
That is really what is kind of causing some of this challenge for some of the airlines to get up and get out.
Staff at Jaeger Ridge Golf Club say there's usually hundreds of players practicing their swing and booking their tee times. But today, because of the windy weather, there's only 3.
We're focused mainly right now on repairs and maintenance versus full replacement, because obviously material will be flying off the roof.
PJ Roofing says every time wind gusts pick up, they get a wave of calls.
What we're getting right now with the high winds is a really high volume of call for shingle repairs, sometime complete replacement because either half a section blew off.
He recommends checking your roof after a windy day.
Be in touch with your neighbor. If they notice any shingles in their backyard, then it's an indicator that you probably lost a couple of shingles.
Back at the airport, flight troubles haven't been a breeze for passengers. The airport says it's working with airlines to get them to their destinations.
Airlines are really looking at what they can possibly do about bringing bigger aircraft in to get the loads onto those aircrafts and get the passengers off to where they need to be.
Flight updates can be found on the airport's website. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, Josh, as nasty as it was here today, other places much worse.
Yeah, Red Deer and east central Alberta. We'll show you some of the max wind gusts that we had earlier in the day today. Red Deer, you're now out of the wind warning. East central Alberta still included in that. Look at this, 75 to 95 kilometer per hour gusts earlier today. Red Deer got to almost 95. We maxed out in the city at just over 60. Some outlying areas just over 70 kilometers per hour. So we figured about 60 to 70 kilometer per hour gusts, and that's pretty much what we got. Now, the worst of that is behind us. Gusts have backed off to about 45 kilometers per hour. They'll drop to about 30 kilometer per hour gusts late this evening. And then, I mean, it's still really windy here for the rest of the night in east central Alberta. Tomorrow, it's not going to be a completely calm day, but a little better than today. Wind 20 with gusts to about 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. By tomorrow night, the wind finally dies down. Looks like a calm day as well for Saturday. We'll get to that in the rest of the forecast in a couple minutes.
Okay, thank you, Josh. The province will bring in a new rate cap for auto insurance when its new system launches in 2027. Under the new rate cap, insurers will not be able to raise average rates by more than 5%. All drivers will see their auto premiums capped at 10% when they renew. The province says drivers with basic insurance coverage will save an average $366 per vehicle. The new rate caps will roll out along with the new Care First insurance system. Under Care First, insurers will pay compensation rates set by the province for injuries instead of drivers suing each other. The changes take effect January 1st, 2027. Premier Danielle Smith's responses when it comes to a separation referendum have some political watchers wondering whether she can bridge the gap between federalists and separatists in her own party. CTV's Tyson Fedor has more.
In November 2024, Premier Danielle Smith received a resounding vote of confidence from United Conservative Party members, with 92% supporting her leadership. But since then, a separation movement has created a divide in Alberta, including the mounting support for it from UCP members.
This is something that can topple leaders. This is something that can destroy parties. And this is something that Danielle Smith has been playing around with that is finally going to burn her.
Smith continues to advocate for a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada, but with a judge's decision to toss a separatist petition out the window, she has a decision to make.
A wide tent party would mean a party that includes people that may support the separatist view and people that are federalists. And, you know, that is a challenge that political leaders will face.
Former Premier Alison Redford says Smith and her government have done a good job facilitating the process through citizen-led initiatives. But many separatist groups in Alberta are demanding she include the question of separation on the ballot in October.
Does she see her role as being to take a position on this and advance that position? Or is it to facilitate the process?
She's lumping a pro-federalist agenda with a pro-separation agenda and being very disingenuous in doing so. So Premier Smith is in real trouble.
The Premier's office deferred any comment on her political future to her remarks on Wednesday.
We have now 700,000 Albertans, whether they're on the Remain side or the Leave side, who've said that they want to have this public debate.
The reason she panders to the separatists, because if she doesn't, her party will split and she will no longer be the Premier.
For Calgarians, they are split on whether the Premier should include the question or not.
If this is a way to make the federal government understand, maybe that's the right way to go.
I think that it's not in the interest of the province, it's in the interest of a small percentage of people, and we're all Canadian.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
The UCP says it fully supports Smith as leader following her high approval rating from members and double-digit leads over the NDP in public polls, with approval ratings not seen since Ralph Klein. The Prime Minister confirmed today his government is moving forward on a potential pipeline for Alberta oil.
to transport at least 1 million barrels of low-emission Alberta oil a day to new markets.
Mark Carney also says he's preparing to share details of a new deal with Alberta on industrial carbon pricing. Sources told CTV News yesterday the deal will set a price of $130 a ton by 2040, down from the original plan of $170 a ton by 2030. An announcement is expected tomorrow. In BC, Premier David Eby reiterated there is still no confirmed proponent or route for the proposed pipeline to the coast, and he's been in touch with Carney.
I had the opportunity to speak with the Prime Minister this afternoon about his MOU with Alberta's Premier. I am hopeful to be able to meet with him again next week to follow up. We're reviewing the details the Prime Minister has provided about what's in the MOU in terms of implications for British Columbia, the most significant of which relate to the carbon tax.
The prospect of a northern route for a pipeline to BC's coast has consistently been opposed by First Nations, who reject the idea of lifting the existing oil tanker ban on that coast. Carney did not confirm today whether the pipeline plan would be designated a project in the national interest. Some of the evacuees from Woodlands County are now allowed back home. The county has divided the evacuation area into 3 zones. People in Zone 3 are now allowed back. People living in Zones 1 and 2 are still waiting. The county says crews are still doing safety assessments in those areas. People are asked to check what documents they need for re-entry. This includes a waiver form since the wildfire is still active but being held. Those forms are available at the Education Centre. Mayor Andrew Knack delivered his first State of the City address today, making a joint push for safety and economic growth with the Chamber of Commerce. It's a message that landed with the business crowd and one the mayor believes most Edmontonians can get behind. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Our city has so much to be proud of.
In his first State of the City address as mayor, Andrew Knack touted Edmonton's strengths. He says our city's economy is projected to grow more this year than any other Canadian city. The workforce is young and life is more affordable here.
We didn't get here by mistake. We reached this point through deliberate decisions over the past decade. And we will continue this work to retain our housing affordability advantage.
Knack was not considered the business community's first choice for mayor, but chamber leadership is encouraged by City Council's stated priorities: economic development, growth management, quality services, and safety. Those issues will guide council through the new ground-up budget process this fall.
This is the most consequential fiscal exercise this city will undertake in the next 4 years, and I hope and encourage everyone to participate in that.
Safety in the core is still a major concern for business owners and the public. The mayor says all orders of government are aligned on addressing the root causes of homelessness and addiction. He believes Ottawa's bail reform also needs to recognize Edmonton is home to the most federal prisons and jails in Canada.
There is currently no real release plan, so when they're done serving their time, they're dropped off at the door of the Hope Mission or at the Clairview LRT station. That is not a great way to reduce recidivism.
Words are one thing. The real test of the friendly tone and common goals will be action and impact.
Whatever they decide to finally measure on economic performance, for instance, and on safety, it's got to be tangible and real results.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Edmonton Oilers will have a new head coach next season. After 3 seasons behind the bench, Chris Knobloch is out. How the firing was handled has the Oilers general manager on the defense. Nerman Issa explains why.
We just felt that we needed a different voice to lead us to where we want to get to.
Oilers general manager Stan Bowman is defending his decision to fire head coach Chris Knobloch. Knobloch signed a 3-year extension last season that kicks in this summer.
Difficult decision without a doubt, but it was based upon the way this entire year played out, not just small sections or just the playoffs.
The 47-year-old spent 3 seasons as head coach, replacing Jay Woodcroft, who was fired in November of 2023. Knobloch had a winning record and led the Oilers to back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances.
He was the perfect coach at that time. He's exactly what that group needed. But as time passes, things change. Like, things change for the coach themselves, but the players change. And even the players that are here, they evolve.
There is speculation the Oilers tried to speak with former Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy. Bowman declined to comment. One TSN reporter says this may have forced the club's hand to fire Knobloch.
My instinct is to give the organization the benefit of the doubt and say it was just sloppy in the fact that it got out, but that they were just trying to see if Cassidy was an option. Because the alternative is they treated this guy the way no coach deserves to be treated.
Oilers fans we spoke with are split on the firing.
Personally, I think, if you get to a NHL Stanley Cup 2 years in a row and then, it's a first-round exit, sometimes it just doesn't go your way. So, but I would like to see him stay, yeah.
I'm pretty excited, happy to have some new coaching and staff, because this year was a bit of a mess with the players and the coach.
The GM says he's not rushing to name a new head coach yet. They will also be looking for a new assistant coach, as the Oilers have fired Mark Stewart. Naranisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
The 124 Grand Market is now open for the season. This is the market's 15th year on 124th Street and 108th Ave. If you're braving the breeze tonight, there are vendors, food trucks, live entertainment, and activities for families.
We all are an all-weather market, and I think, in Edmonton, we're pretty resilient when it comes to weather and all climate situations, but today we're hunkering down just so we can be here and open for our customers.
Market runs every Thursday and Sunday. Sunday it moves a few blocks south. Market runs until the Thanksgiving weekend. I'm going to be holding down some of those tents tonight, possibly.
I think the worst is behind us, thankfully, but it is still going to be fairly gusty for the next few hours. And even tomorrow, 30 to 40 kilometer per hour gusts. I mean, it's not a calm day by any stretch. Temperatures right now sitting at 12 degrees. We got to 14 for a high earlier today. You can see wind out of the north, 30. Gusts to about 45 kilometers per hour. Off to the northwest of the city at the Villeneuve Airport, you have gusts still up over 65 kilometers per hour. 10 degrees this morning, 14 for the high this afternoon, so back below average. And we'll see daytime highs in the 10-degree range for the next couple of days. We talked about that wind warning in green there at the eastern edge of the province. On the western side, that gray zone, it's a special weather statement pertaining to the chance for some heavy snow over the course of the next couple of days. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in just a few minutes. It's a rainfall warning across the north. Although, Fort McMurray, you're included in the rainfall warning. You're really not going to see anywhere near as much rain as areas further to the south. That's been the case all day today. And that'll be the case over the next 24 to 48 hours. We've also had some steadier rain just north and east of Edmonton. So we said yesterday this was going to be more of a windstorm than a rainstorm. And for 99% of the Edmonton area, it was. If you live in Fort Saskatchewan or just north of Edmonton, though, I apologize. You did see a decent amount of rain through the day today. Could see some scattered showers tomorrow and possibly again Saturday, but no heavy, steady rain for the city. There's your wind, 30 to 40 kilometer per hour gusts, finally starting to die down tomorrow evening. Full look at your long weekend forecast in a couple minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, tearful testimony. The father of an 11-year-old boy killed by 2 dogs takes the stand in a case to determine if the dog's owner is criminally responsible. Also next. Marking an Indigenous-led movement aiming to end gender-based violence and advance reconciliation.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Tearful testimony in court today from the father of an 11-year-old boy killed by 2 dogs. The dog's owner faces a charge of criminal negligence causing death. As Nicole Weisberg reports, the father says he was working in the garage before discovering a horrific scene in the house.
Doorbell video played in court shows first responders rushing into a Summerside home on April 1st, 2024. They were called there for a dog attack. In court, Cash Grist's father said he was working on a truck in the garage before he came in and noticed a mess. He got closer and saw his son Cash lying on the floor. The dogs were there beside him, Wesley Grist said. He said he started screaming and rushed towards his son, grabbing him. The cane Corsos pulled back, he said, one on each leg. I punched and kicked the dogs and threw them outside, he said. He struggled to call 911, but eventually connected and followed their orders to do CPR, even though it felt too late. When I discovered him, he was already gone, he said. A police officer testified when he arrived, there was blood everywhere, a boy on the floor, and a man sobbing and rocking beside him. Not long before, the 11-year-old went to a nearby convenience store to buy snacks. It was supposed to be his final evening with his dad before returning to his mom's place in BC. The dog's owner, Crystal McDonald, was not home during the attack. Court heard she worked 2 jobs and walked the dogs infrequently. The defense asked Grist whether he was warned about leaving Cash with the dogs. He said McDonald was hesitant about Cash visiting and made it clear that Cash should not be alone with them. Grist said McDonald became more concerned about the dogs after one of her friends was attacked a couple months earlier. That attack was captured on a neighbor's backyard camera. Grist said he was also aware the basement tenant was bitten and the dogs killed a cat and a Pomeranian. Cash was comfortable with them, he testified, adding he never saw any interactions that concerned him. The Crown's case is now complete. The defense says it is considering whether to call any witnesses. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Police have issued a public warning about a man charged in connection to dozens of fraudulent cell phone contracts. Investigators say 37-year-old Kwok Tuan Win is now facing 2 charges of fraud over $5,000 and 2 charges of forging documents. Police say he allegedly forged business registration documents to open cell phone accounts. Phones were obtained on credit that was never paid. Police believe he was able to get 143 new iPhones worth about $255,000. Police are warning businesses because of the size and value of the scam. Edmonton City Hall is marking Moose Hide Day in support of Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. The event featured cultural performances, including music and dancing. The national Indigenous-led movement aims to end gender-based violence and advance reconciliation. Today's Edmonton event was co-hosted by the city and the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta. This is the 5th year in a row Edmonton has held a Moose Hide Day gathering. Still ahead, pinball appreciation.
You don't see them at the Roots or corner stores or that many arcades anymore.
Hundreds of rookies, pros, and everyone in between heading to Sherwood Park this weekend for an all-levels tournament.
Cool temperatures as we kick off the May long weekend. Should see a little more sunshine, though, and a slight warm-up towards the back end of the weekend. Talk about all that. Let you know when that wind is going to die down as well. Right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
You don't need to be a pinball wizard to check out a tournament in Sherwood Park this weekend. Players are trying to beat their high scores at the Pinball and Arcade Expo at Millennium Place. For pinball pros, there are 4 tournaments and $10,000 worth of prizes. Organizers say they're hosting more than 300 players from as far away as the United States, Europe, and Australia. The event is open to anyone. 330 games are all free to play, so you can leave your quarters at home. Yeg Pin's president says many players find the event nostalgic.
It's a lot of manpower to get this all together just so the public can come out and enjoy a weekend and maybe relive some of their youth back in the day, or bring their kids out to show them what a pinball machine is or the old arcade systems. You don't see them at the Roots or corner stores or that many arcades anymore.
The competition and free-to-play wraps up Sunday evening. You can also learn more about league nights that happen Thursdays in Sherwood Park.
It's nice indoor activity on a cool
That's exactly
weekend.
what I was about to say, yeah. Pinball, television, couch, anything to do with the couch.
You know the problem with this long weekend? It's a weekend too early. Yeah. Why is this not next weekend?
You're absolutely, you know, I never looked at it that way. You're absolutely right.
Why is it
every year?
It's May 2-4, not May 1-4. Take a look outside. Action Furnace, River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed rider, it's free. 12 degrees in Edmonton right now. Got to 14 for a daytime high. 13, 18, 16. Those were all just after midnight. It's been considerably cooler than that through this afternoon. Same with high level. Officially 16 for a daytime high. It was early this morning. That high of 19, though, in Red Deer was this afternoon. Wind warning in effect for the Lloydminster area all the way south. And then here in the west, I'm not convinced Hinton Grand Cache get a ton of snow. You get some snow. Heaviest of the snow, I think, is going to be sort of at the southern end of this gray zone. Possibly Calgary gets some accumulating snow. I think parts of East Central Alberta around Lloydminster could see some accumulating snow as well. There's your rainfall warning. In general, about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain, although the bulk of that's going to be at the eastern edge of that. You get about 10 in Peace River by the end of the day tomorrow. Not much more on Saturday. You do add to these rainfall totals here in East Central regions, though. So Lloydminster, Wainwright, all the way up through Two Hills, Smoky Lake, St. Paul. You get a good 20 to 30, 35 millimeters worth of rain. Some spots maybe closer to 40 over the course of the next 2 days. That's where the bulk of the rain has been falling through the day today. As we said earlier, you also have had some steadier rain just north and east of Edmonton. All of this developing on the backside of this big, deep, low-pressure system. Look at that spin. So that's grabbing some cold air, shoving it in from the north, and that will be cool enough in the upper levels to flip this over to snow for a number of spots. Now, I think here in Edmonton, most of that precipitation stays north and east of the city tonight. If we get anything at all tomorrow, it's likely showers. But from Peace River down through into East Central Alberta, that's a pretty good chance of snow, and there could be some spots where you pick up a couple centimeters of accumulation by late Friday night, early Saturday morning. By that time, things really start to get going for snow here in through the mountain parks, especially around Banff, Kananaskis, just off to the west and southwest of Calgary. We'll probably see some accumulating snow. Here in the Edmonton area, it's a chance of some scattered showers tomorrow and again Saturday, but no major systems targeting us with heavy, steady precipitation. There's the warm air that was just south of us today. Watch the cool down for tomorrow, especially just off to the north and to the east, where you have that chance of rain and snow. That colder air drops further south by Saturday. It actually starts to warm up a little bit across the north on Saturday. We'll start to see temperatures back into the low to mid-teens by Sunday and mid to high teens by long weekend Monday. So it'll be a cool start to the weekend, but things will improve by Sunday, Monday. 4 degrees, Fort McMurray right now. It's 18 in Red Deer, 12 here in Edmonton, and 17 in Grand Prairie. Still pretty gusty in Grand Prairie. Gusts here in Edmonton to about 45, still gusting over 70 in Coronation. That'll be the case for the rest of tonight, it looks like, in East Central Alberta. Here in Edmonton, gusts will be 30 to 40 right through to late tomorrow afternoon. Chance of a scattered shower. Then the wind dies down tomorrow night. And Saturday, Sunday, pretty calm. Highs near 10 for the next couple of days. Near 0 for mornings, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, back into the teens by the end of the long weekend.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, Canada's power plan.
Electricity demand in Canada is expected to double by 2050. So we will double our grid.
Promises of jobs and lower emissions also.
It's a great question to talk about, and I'm very comfortable not knowing.
Astronauts on tour asked whether they think we're alone. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Prime Minister Mark Carney made a long-awaited announcement today to reveal some details about a new national electricity strategy. As CTV's Abigail Beeman reports, the plan is to double the grid by 2050 and transition to a low-emission economy.
The Prime Minister amped up to deliver a long-awaited electricity strategy with a plan to double Canada's capacity.
As our industries expand, our economy grows, AI accelerates, electricity demand in Canada is expected to double by 2050. So we will double our grid.
The government estimates the expansion could add 130,000 high-paying jobs by 2050.
This announcement in electricity, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest announcement since, well, electricity itself.
Canada's current electrical system is complex and siloed. The Prime Minister concedes it's often easier to trade power with the United States than interprovincially, costing Canada billions.
Tying our grids together, and that will be that will be essential, and that's where the federal government has to come in and help the provinces make good choices that work strategically for the nation.
To help build and power an expanded grid, Mark Carney is proposing more flexibility to scale up natural gas, especially important in Western Canada, by loosening Trudeau-era clean electricity regulations.
It is a betrayal of the years of time that was spent with stakeholders and utilities and Indigenous nations on developing the federal clean electricity regulations.
He re-announced the same electricity plan that the Liberals have used over the last decade to jack up the cost of power bills by 35%.
While the government promises this expansion will eventually lower bills, it also puts the price tag at more than $1 trillion overall and couldn't provide any details about a breakdown or who would pay for what. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Alberta's Affordability and Utilities Minister is welcoming the new electricity strategy.
Well, we're very encouraged, actually, that it's pretty clear. They've been taking our advice. They've been working with provinces, which is a nice change. I think Ontario and ourselves have led the way on recognizing the need for natural gas for stability within our grids right across the country.
Last month, Ottawa approved a $4 billion expansion of Enbridge's natural gas pipeline connecting gas fields in BC and Alberta to the Canada-U.S. border. For the first time in nearly a decade, U.S. President Donald Trump has visited China to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two leaders are discussing trade, while the war with Iran looms large over the summit. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping wrapping up the first day of their multi-day summit with a lavish state banquet.
The American and Chinese people share much in common. We value hard work. We value courage and achievement. We love our families and we love our countries.
Earlier in the day, the president praising the Chinese leader as they sat at the negotiating table.
You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true.
Xi calling for a closer relationship between the two countries.
We should be partners, not rivals.
A White House official saying Trump and Xi had a good meeting, discussing ways to increase economic cooperation, end the flow of fentanyl in the U.S., and let American companies further into Chinese markets. According to Chinese state media's readout, Xi delivered a warning to Trump on the issue of Taiwan, which China sees as its territory, but the U.S. does not, saying if handled poorly, the two countries will clash or even come into conflict. Meanwhile, with the Iran war looming large over these talks, Iran says China plays a key role in its security position in the Strait of Hormuz. China is one of Iran's closest allies, buying more Iranian oil than any other country. The White House saying the two sides agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to support the free flow of energy. The current standstill has sent global oil prices skyrocketing.
And Friday will include another round of talks. The White House says the two sides will discuss trade, investment, as well as artificial intelligence. As for future discussions, President Trump says he's already invited Xi Jinping to visit the White House in September. Selena Wang, ABC News, Beijing.
A Russian drone and missile strike on Kyiv has killed at least 8 people. Victims were pulled from the rubble of a destroyed apartment building. 45 people were injured, and officials are still searching for at least 20 more. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia launched over 670 drones and 56 missiles. Tomorrow has been declared a day of mourning in the Ukrainian capital. Canada's top doctor says 36 people in the country are now being monitored for hantavirus after an additional 26 contacts were identified.
In Canada, we're taking a precautionary approach, and we have deemed them to be minimal or low risk as opposed to no risk. The provinces and territories, therefore, are undertaking the work to contact these 26 individuals and provide them with information and monitor them throughout this time.
Dr. Joss Reimer says these new contacts don't need to isolate unless local health officials recommend it. There are now 27 low-risk contacts and 9 high-risk in Canada, which includes the cruise ship passengers and their close contacts. All are asymptomatic. The outbreak killed 3 people on a cruise ship. The Artemis II crew is getting a hero's welcome as they tour Canada 1 month after their mission to the moon captivated people around the world. CTV's Vashi Kapelos recently spoke with the crew. Her interview included questions about whether the astronauts think there's life beyond Earth.
I had a thought when I was up there looking around in the universe, because we saw tiny Earth out the window, and I've said before, it felt like you could just as easily look out the other window and see Neptune, like another planet, but one that was completely not hospitable to giving life, which also meant that maybe there were other worlds out there that were.
Like Christina said, they may have already found us, and we just don't know it. And so I don't know. It's a great question to talk about, and I'm very comfortable not knowing.
The interview covers topics including whether there's a space race going on with China, the Canada-U.S. relationship and collaboration on the Artemis mission, and whether they miss being up in space. The full interview airs on Question Period this weekend. Still ahead, electric vehicle sales in overdrive.
They are in high demand. So is there a future for electrified vehicles? I mean, there's a present and a future for electrified vehicles.
The factor is driving more Canadians to buy electric, also ahead.
Elmo and I were wondering if you guys might want to join us on July 19th.
We'll be there, Chris, for sure.
Thank you so much.
The Muppets and Chris Martin visit Sesame Street to reveal the star-studded lineup of the FIFA World Cup's first halftime show. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar down slightly, now near 72 cents U.S. Oil saw just a 15-cent jump, trading around $101 American a barrel. Gold lost $21 on the day. On the stock market, the TSX is up 226 points, the Dow Jones up 370. Honda has confirmed it is indefinitely suspending plans for a $15 billion electric vehicle project in Ontario. It comes at a time EV sales are shifting into overdrive. March saw an increase of almost 75% compared to a year ago, while gas-powered car sales are down. Adrian Gabriel has more.
An acceleration in electric vehicle sales is driving a surging trend across the country. This new Statistics Canada report has revealed that in March, there were more than 21,000 new zero-emission vehicle sales in Canada, a spike of more than 74% year over year.
They are in high demand. So is there a future for electrified vehicles? I mean, there's a present and a future for electrified vehicles.
And it's all Canadian. In February, the federal government announced a new 5-year EV incentives program, offering rebates of up to $5,000. Automotive insiders believe it's in part a driving factor.
The surge of gas prices and the return of the federal EV incentives is helping to drive those sales.
Another variable being cited, Canadian consumers becoming more familiar and open to the idea of going green.
We have consumers who have experience, their neighbors have experience with EVs, and they're trusting them.
New EV sales made up more than 12% of all vehicles sold in March, up from just over 6% during the same month last year. While Honda has indefinitely suspended its $15 billion electric vehicle complex in Ontario. In St. Thomas, Ontario, construction of a massive EV gigafactory battery plant is well underway, with production set for next year. Ottawa has also opened the door for 49,000 Chinese-built electric vehicles to enter the Canadian market. Demand from budget-conscious consumers is expected to be strong.
We're also hearing about exciting hybrids in the pipeline, and the variety of consumer choices is going to be building from all over the world.
One roadblock impeding EV growth, according to those watching the trends, is consumer anxiety over accessibility to functioning charging stations in communities across the country. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Less than a month out from the FIFA World Cup, organizers have revealed the performers for its first ever final match halftime show.
Wait, who's on the phone, Elmo?
BTS. Elmo has him on speed dial.
Hey, Elmo. Hey, Chris. Hey, Cookie.
V, RM, Sugar, J-Hope, Jimin, Jungkook, and Jin. Elmo and I were wondering if you guys might want to join us on July 19th.
We'll be there, Chris, for sure.
Thank you so much. Okay.
That's K-pop superstars BTS confirming their plans to perform at halftime. The skit also featured Coldplay's Chris Martin and characters from the Muppets and Sesame Street. Madonna and Shakira will also take the stage. Shakira's song Die Die is the official song of the 2026 World Cup. The Royal Canadian Mint has a new $1 coin to celebrate the World Cup in Canada. It was designed by BC artist Glenn Green. It features an orange and red maple leaf mosaic and a soccer ball with Toronto and Vancouver written underneath. And for those who need some soccer snacks while watching the World Cup, Lay's is releasing chip bags and flavors representing different countries. Bacon Poutine is Canada's flavor, with Richie Laria and Nathan Saliba on the front of the bag. Francis Terry Henry is on the cheese souffle flavored bag. Steak and chimichurri represents Argentina with Lionel Messi. The classic cheese and onion represents England with David Beckham. The chips will be available across Canada starting in mid-May. Still ahead, if creative chip flavors don't go far enough for your palate, the Calgary Stampede probably has you covered.
It's so important to have the variation that you see here because there's not one dish that's going to satisfy everybody.
Look at the new and interesting items coming to the Stampede this summer.
Wake up with us at CTV Your Morning Edmonton for the latest local news, up-to-the-minute weather, traffic updates, and lifestyle entertainment. There's no brighter way to start your day. CTV Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays 6 to 9. Watch live on Crave.
Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta. We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
Summer is on its way, with it festival season, and with festivals comes food. From ramen donuts to Spam fries, we're getting a sneak peek at the dozens of creations being offered up at this year's Calgary Stampede. CTV's Jordan Canigan braved the bold flavors in a taste test.
Well, the Calgary Stampede isn't just concerts and cowboy hats. For many people, food is their favorite. And the new Midway food selections for 2026 have everything from sweet to salty to crunchy and somewhat quirky.
So we have the crunchy, crispy corn a cup, which is a twist on Mexican street corn, which the exhibitor has added in crunchy dried mealworms.
Alongside mini donuts and corn dogs, exhibitors are always looking for a twist. How about a giant salmon sushi or coconut crusted fried chicken? Maybe a pizza slice deep fried in corn dog batter.
Who doesn't love a deep fried food, and who doesn't love a cheese slice? So it was really just a matter of figuring out how to come up with a original deep fried version of a classic cheese slice that was worthy of the Calgary Stampede.
To wash it all down, maybe a drink.
So it is a Sprite base, and it has dragon fruit and chipotle pineapple with tahini on top. If you like a little spice, you can do the tahini. If you don't, you could do it without.
Excellent. All right, let me give it a try. That's fantastic. That's really tasty. Several creations feature trending flavors such as matcha or Dubai chocolate.
It's so important to have the variation that you see here because there's not one dish that's going to satisfy everybody. We're all about diversity, introducing new flavors, and the exhibitors have a blast. They really take it away, work all year to come up with these creative twists, bold flavor combinations, and classic Stampede fun.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
All right, Stampede, July 3rd to 12th, K-Days, the 17th to 26th. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're offering this year.
It'll be warmer than it will be this week.
Are you sure?
Guaranteed. Okay. Take a look at your forecast for the next couple of days. Highs near 10 tomorrow and Saturday. Still a little gusty overnight tonight and tomorrow, but instead of 60 to 70, gusts will be about 30 to 40. And by tomorrow evening, they're done. Could see a few scattered showers tomorrow and possibly again Saturday. No heavy, steady rain, though. Just mostly cloudy for most of those days. A little bit sunnier towards the back end of the long weekend. A little warmer as well. Back into the mid to high teens by Monday, Tuesday of next week.
Looks great. Thank you very much, Josh. And thank you for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening.